Cain, thanks so much for joining us on the show again, brother. It's good to see you.
My pleasure, as always. Always a treat to see the Nev Meister doing his thing, taking care of business.
In the room of doom.
Fuck yeah. Big fan of that.
Yeah, well, it's the nerdy room of doom. But man, the last time I saw you, apart from like 2 minutes ago, was at Emperor in Brisbane, and that was an incredible fucking show, man. And I'm not just saying that because you're my mate, but it genuinely was one of the best shows I've ever seen. You guys were so on point. How was that tour for you? How was that show?
That Brisbane show was really cool, largely because the venue was so interesting. That played a big role in the vibe of the night. I heard a bit of bits and pieces of negative chat about it because it's kind of out of the way. It's not central venue, so there was a bit of banter about fucking blah blah blah. Oh, it's it's out in the sticks or whatever. But I don't really have much of a geographical kind of concept of Queensland at all, so I don't know exactly how far it is out from anything. But
people still show
up. Yeah, I did not have high expectations for that show because I thought, fuck, is anyone going to show up? I haven't really heard much more than a little bit of whinging, really. So when we got there and sound checked, there was already a vibe because it was an exciting venue to play in. I quite enjoyed the way that place was laid out and the ceilings in that place, and yeah, really cool venue. And the show was killer. The killer turnout, and just each of those shows were just a really, really high vibration kind of experience. There was no one having a bad time. It was just a lot of excited people, all excited about the same things, and yeah, really cool, really, really enjoyable run of shows, which was surprising because it actually started out on such a shit note with I was showering before going to the airport to go to the first show in Melbourne, and I'd mapped it out and planned my morning so that I've got exactly this many minutes to have a shower and this many minutes to get my shit together and get to the airport. Anyway, I get out of the shower and I've got a fresh notification that's just popped up on my phone saying your flight's been cancelled. And I was supposed to be leaving to go to the airport in the next kind of 10-15 minutes. So I'm freaking out thinking, holy shit, I've put all this work into getting our shit together to nail these shows, and then I get this, what's going to happen? And then about 10 minutes later, I get a notification saying, good news, your flight's been rebooked. And that flight was leaving half an hour earlier than the one I was.
Oh, man.
I'd, calculated, how much time I needed to get there. So I was so furious that I was ready to just go to the airport and lose my mind at just any staff that were in my way until somebody fucking put me on a plane. I was like, nah, fuck this shit. I'm done. I'm going to make an absolute nuisance of myself and make everyone's day absolutely fucked. So I actually called one of the guys in the band just to say, this is where I'm at and I'm about to lose my fucking mind. I'm going to go there and make everyone have a horrendous day. And he just goes, please don't do that. Worst case scenario, no one dies and it's, what happens. It's out of our control. Just, can you please just, make your best effort to get to the airport and we'll take it from there. So I went, all right, calm down. And I got the flight somehow. Bizarrely, I managed to catch the flight. But it was really quite a stressful way to start a run of shows, and they ended up putting me on some zigzag fucking flight path that meant I spent the day in transit in airports. So I pretty much rocked up to the venue and walked straight into the backstage area and sat down and started doing warm-ups, just getting ready to play a fucking gig. So not an ideal way to start a tour, but somehow pulled a rabbit out of a hat, and the show wasn't terrible, and neither were the other ones. So thank fuck for that.
Man, that's hectic. That's close. That's a close call. We almost had we played in Sydney at Frankie's, and we were on the way back, and there was massive delays with the trains, and we almost missed our flight by like 10 minutes. Like, we were running with cymbals coming out of bags and picking them up, and man,
yeah,
it's fucked up.
It's the norm now, and what shits me even more than that is the cunts that are just accepting it. Like, oh, it's just the way things are, you know. Oh, we're all in this together. It's a bit hard on everyone. How about go fuck yourself?
Yeah.
How about that? You know, like, no, this is bullshit.
Do your job.
So,
you know what I mean?
Sort it out. Pull your fucking socks up.
That's it.
Yeah. Anyway, enough whinging.
I love it, man, because it's real talk. But,
it's right.
It's everyone's feeling it. We're gonna have everyone just going, yeah, let's fucking burn the place down. Like, don't do that. Don't do that anymore. But did you get to hang out with the Emperor guys much?
Yeah, not a lot, but here and there throughout the shows, particularly on the last day when everyone's kind of everyone's just super chilled out, and I think we got on really well with their management early on, like far before the tour, and so I think that might have been a bit of a catalyst in us playing those shows. He was right into our stuff, and so he was an absolute champion at those shows. Really cool guy. The whole crew, everyone in that team were just all genuine good dudes, band guys, and everyone involved. It was just a really cruisy thing where you can just have laughs with each other, and it wasn't a kind of it wasn't a wank fest or ego fest or anything like that. It was just genuine dudes, which is a breath of fresh air, because it doesn't matter what scene you're in, there's always plenty of egos flying around, and it can get sort of tiring to be around that kind of shit. So it's nice when you get to do some gigs with some like-minded guys, and they were really cool guys, and we had some good laughs, and lots of the last night we're just kind of taking photos, and Emperor guys are photo bombing shots and just being clowns and having a bit of fun on the last night. So and that was the Brisbane show, wasn't it? I think the Eaton Hill show was the last show in the run. So that kind of added to the vibe of the whole night, the fact that it was the last show and everyone's kind of just loose, and you just drop your guard, and because you don't have to play tomorrow, so let's just chill and be dickheads. So
that's awesome, man, because they are very polite dudes. Like, Isan's
absolutely
really good dude. Like,
really
good dude. Every time I've ever interacted with him, he's just always like super chill and friendly. No ego. But the dude's awesome, genius. Like, like, what do you say? But mate, you're going to be hitting the road again for the Plague of Locus tour, and this is your first headline tour in 10 years, which for me as a fan is really fucking exciting. Will the set list be more focused on recent material, or are you guys planning to sort of mix it up with earlier stuff as well? How's it shaping up?
We always like to mix it up as much as we can, because every era of the band is significant to the band's legacy in its own way. So, yeah, we always try and mix it up. We don't want to play the same set. We don't want to play an identical set to the last run of shows. So we have mixed it up a bit. So there's a couple of little surprises in there, which is really fun. Because we didn't really discuss the set list really for a while. And I guess not really thinking about it, I was kind of just assuming that, you know, I've got to tighten up the same songs that we just did. But finally there was a bit of chat, and we concluded a group of songs, and one part of me is going, oh fuck. So now I've got to, yeah, at least the previous set list was somewhat fresh in my mind, and now I've got to fucking do homework. I've got to relearn shit that I haven't done for ages or whatever. But it's once I sort of, you know, got over that hurdle of, all right, come on, let's do this. It actually didn't take long for that to start being fun again, and going, oh, that's right. Yeah, I used to do this in that bit, and maybe I could do this in this section. And I always used to do it this way, but that's actually a bit piss weak. I think it's better using this voice for that section, and things like that. So it's kind of got some cogs turning again, which is cool. Better to be, you know, have something making me think than just doing a rinse and repeat sort of thing. And that wouldn't be fair on anyone that was at the Emperor shows, you know, to come out and go, oh, right, so you're playing exactly the same set as a few months ago. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about the set list, and it does cover everything, every era from Akarsis to Non to Void to, what was the other one? Flesh is Air, Revelator. I'm just scrambling to remember fucking album titles by band that I sing for. It's pretty funny. But and the new release, which is still not out. It's when 19th of this month, I think it's actually released.
Yeah.
So what's that, like 2 weeks away or something? Something like that.
It's coming up quick.
2-3 weeks.
I have it written right here somewhere in my notes.
Somewhere.
But I have got questions.
Here we go. There. I brought some.
Oh, look at that.
Some homework, because I know I couldn't trust myself to remember anything.
October 19th.
There you go.
Exactly what
I'm not making this up. It's true.
No.
It's you know, there we go. This guy knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, I usually have it written here, but it's probably just somewhere in my notes. See, there you go. I'm giving away my secrets. But
there we go.
Low are also joining you on the run too, who I think are a fucking incredible band as well. How are you feeling about hitting the road with those guys? I think it's going to be
great band. I don't think we've played with them. We did play at a festival that we were both on in 2021. We were both on in Tassie, Dark Mofo. We were both on that bill in 2021. So that's the only time personally that I've got to sort of chat with any of those guys. And yeah, that we had a few beers and a few laughs, and there's a good vibe there. So, and I've checked out a bit of their stuff, love what they do, really innovative kind of band that sort of write their own rules, which is always a positive for us. You know, that's an exciting thing for us. And that's why we do what we do, because we like doing that. We've never been the kind of band to sort of settle and go, oh, that kind of works, let's just keep the ball rolling, because we just get bored too quickly. So Yeah, I think it's a really good pairing.
Absolutely.
And for anyone going to the shows as well, like if you're into what we do for similar kind of reasons, even if you haven't heard Low before, it's pretty, likely you're going to go, oh fuck, what the hell is that? This is also very interesting. That's what we want,
That's right.
um, writing our own rules and um, creating things that haven't been heard before and surprising people and pulling the rug out from under people and letting people settle into a false sense of security for a little while and then sort of going, oh, you thought knew where this was going and suck shit because it's not. Fucking cop that. And they're kind of, from what I know of them, they're similar kind of, there's a similar kind of work ethic in what they do. So I'm looking forward to sharing stages with them and creating some chaos.
Man, I tell you what, like I think both you guys are kindred spirits in a lot of ways. Musically different, but especially like Sam's a monster frontman. You are a monster frontman. I think you're both like incredibly powerful at what you do, vocally and performance wise. Man, do you think maybe you guys would team up on something one day? Maybe on the have you spoken about anything like that? Maybe the two
No,
of you.
we haven't. But to be honest, in the last kind of the last little while, there's been a few times where I've been hit up by different bands or even label mates or mates from other bands, either over here or over on the East Coast or wherever. And basically, where I'm at right now is I've been kind of in a sort of a dark night of the soul kind of experience in this last sort of year and a half, where a lot of things have changed, a lot of things have turned upside down, a lot of things have disappeared from my experience, and I'm finding myself in a really I found myself in a really strange place where I'm starting to question everything around me, like what the fuck am I doing? So I'm in a really strange place at the moment where I'm actually trying to figure out who the fuck am I. Actually, I'm trying to figure that out. Who the fuck is this guy? What are my priorities? What do I want? I used to know what I want. I used to, as a kid, there was always something I was kind of very, very solid in my mind, things that I was kind of striving for. But I'm in this point at the moment where I'm actually, and I know this happens with a lot of people, artists, going through extreme burnout, where you get to a point where you just can't even listen to music anymore. And I definitely went through that, and that had me thinking, holy shit, I don't like. I was getting to the point where I was actually forcing myself to listen to music because it felt so strange that I wasn't listening to music. So I'd go, what the fuck is this? I'm not a guy that doesn't listen to music. I'm a guy that listens to music all the time. Put some fucking music on. What's something that you always that always makes you feel excited? Yeah, put that on. So I'll put it on, and within two or three songs, I just go, I cannot fucking do this. Turn it off. I can't. I find no joy in listening to music at all, and that got me really concerned.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, fuck, is it going to come back? Am I ever going to give a fuck about music again? I'm not sure. Thankfully, it did come back, and I started listening to music again. But as for what I'm actually doing music-wise, I'm in a place where I can pretty much only deal with what's in front of me right now. So anything else feels like overcommitment for me at the moment.
Yeah.
So it's enough just keeping my shit together to put one foot in front of the other and deal with what's in front of me. And it's kind of sad to admit it, because I think back to, you know, younger versions of myself where I was basically grabbing anything that was thrown at me, because it's all just new experiences. So I was pretty much sinking my teeth into anything I could, whether it was necessary, whether it was even really my thing or not. It was kind of like, hey, it's not my thing, but that's exciting because it'll force me out of my comfort zone. And I might come up with things through that experience that I never would have thought of had it not been for being dropped into, you know, uncharted territory. So yeah, it kind of sucks to admit that part of me, or to admit that I'm not there, and I'm not that guy anymore. And that might be temporary, and maybe, you know, in a year I might have ironed out enough of the internal kind of chaos that I'm dealing with, and find more space to be able to take on other commitments, and to be able to sort of venture out and be excited about jumping into things again. But at the moment, where I am now, I'm basically just trying to keep it simple for a while at least. And even with the band, I really took a step back from things somewhere along the line. It's kind of in and out. I'll kind of take a step back for a while, and then I feel like maybe I've got a bit of space to sort of be a bit more involved, and so I'll kind of, you know, get into it and discuss some shit. But it feels like it's always kind of got a limit on it. At some point, I kind of reach that kind of maximum capacity, and just go, nah, I have to step back. Keep me out of it. What you guys, you know, if you guys are happy with the track listing, for example, for Plague of Locus, whatever you're happy with, I'm happy with. I don't have the capacity right now to have a conversation about order of songs. I just can't even. I'm just maxed out.
Yeah.
I've reached capacity. I'm really burnt out, and it's not burnt out specifically because of music, because of band commitments. It's just a collection of a lot of things that have kind of changed in the last year and a half. So, and not just that, but I mean the last 3 years have been taxing on everyone. And then on top of it, there's my own sort of personal and internal complications that I've been trying to make sense of and figure out. So yeah, as far as collaboration stuff goes, there's not a lot of chat about that in general, just because I'm just in a place where I don't feel like I've got much to. It's enough just keeping it together to show up for the tasks that are in front of me. So anything outside of that, I've just been politely declining and saying, hey, nothing against your band, nothing, like this song kicks ass, or this album sounds great, or whatever. But you're just asking the wrong guy, or at the wrong time at least. So yeah. That was
That's
a very
understandable.
long-winded way of answering a very simple question. I'm very good at that, so be careful what you ask for.
No, dude, I really appreciate your honesty with that, man. Like, you know, that's a good answer. The tour is, of course, in support of the new AMENTA single and album, Plague of Locus. I do like the play on words there too. It has the single has some really great. What's I talking about? Let me rewind that. It's late here, so my brain isn't working properly. I don't know.
That's all right. Mine never works properly, so you're in good company.
I was like, like I just went way off the rails. But, that's what I was talking about. Of course, it's got some great interpretations of songs by like Killing Joke, Alice in Chains, My Dying Bride, and a few others. How did the idea come about? Because it's really fucking cool.
Like a lot of things with this band, we tend to start off with some small idea, and it kind of becomes a bit. It gets a bit dragged out, and then it evolves, and something that was meant to start off as one thing is, kind of exploded out into a whole album's worth of bizarre cover choices. So originally there were two songs which we tracked during the Revelator sessions, which were going to be kind of B-sides to sort of put out as like a bonus follow-up to the album, just as like some extra trinkets to kind of throw out there for a bit of fun, really. But as those songs kind of evolved, as we're playing around with trial and error, trying to find the right balance between, because ultimately that's what it comes down to, is trying to find this balance between really honoring the artists that we're paying respects to, honoring their their vision and the sentiment behind the song, and also honoring ourselves and doing the, not trying to be something we're not. And it can be particularly with a band like us, which is quite densely layered, soundtracky type, stuff with a lot going on, and doing covers of bands that are a lot more, some of them are a lot more straightforward kind of arrangements or deliveries or whatever. So finding that balance between honoring them and honoring ourselves is really tricky, particularly with those kind of songs, because it's like, holy shit, how much can we fuck with this before it's just, blasphemous to the original creator. So it was a real tender line to sort of to walk, and so I can only hope that it comes across the way that we hoped it would come across, because there were definitely points where I found myself scratching my head going, fuck, I actually don't know if I'm too far one side of the line or the other with this song. Like, am I just fucking hell? I'm pretty bad with sitting too close to the canvas. It's kind of a terrible habit of mine with recording music or artwork. I tends to sit too close to the canvas for too long and then start going, actually, I've got no fucking clue what I'm doing. What the fuck am I doing? Am I just ruining this? Is this, am I like the Alice in Chains cover, as one example, was one that there was a point where I really thought, this is going to piss off anyone that's into Alice in Chains. Like, any Alice in Chains fans are going to hear this and go, why would you do that? You have ruined a song I really like. And AMENTA fans are going to hear it and go, what the fuck is this? This is meant to be the AMENTA, but here you are doing this alternative rock cover from the early 90s. What the fuck is going on? That song in particular felt like I was kind of on the fence, leaning a little bit this way, a little bit that way, and there was a lot of trial and error. And even when I would kind of land something that felt, I think this is right, I think this feels right, I'd listen to it the next day and go, fuck, this is fucked. I don't think this is. I'm not sure this is possible to get this to actually land in the way that it needs to get across the way that I'm hoping it will. But the other guy, it was a bit easier for the other guys. They were a lot more confident in the moving forward with it. And no, we got this. It's cool. It's good. Let it go. And so I just went, okay, look, if you guys are happy, I'm fucking walking away. I'm just going to leave it there and with my fingers crossed and hope that it doesn't offend too many fans of the AMENTA or Alice in Chains or both. But the feedback from that song was surprisingly good. I was kind of waiting, sitting back, waiting for the scathing. This a total rip fest, but it's somehow we did good on that by the sounds of it. I haven't.
Absolutely.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so you want to,
dude, it's fucking really cool. Like, it's really,
awesome.
really good, man. Like that
Awesome.
Killing Joe, man. I'm a massive Killing Joe fan, and it just nails it. But the thing about it I like is you put it's amentarized. That's not even a word. I just made that up. But
you just made it.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I wouldn't want to hear it exactly the fucking same. You know, if I guess if it was exactly the same, I would have been like, it's exactly the same. But when I listened to those songs, they were just, it gave it a new life, gave it a new spin from what I've heard before a million times. And it's fucking real, man. And dark.
Thank you so much.
So fucking dark, man. I was like, I've never heard that song like that.
Oh, it's a dark song. But actually, that reminds me of a comment that really hit home with me and really helped me kind of rest easy. It was Garth, actually, who is the camera guy, director, editor that worked with me on all of the Revelator videos. And he shot he shot my parts for the Plague of Locus video in WA. I wanted to because we're very on the same page with a lot of things artistically, like visually and sonically, even though we're kind of into different things. I can play him something and know that even if it's not really necessarily his thing, he'll appreciate it in the same way that I appreciate it. We're kind of on the same page with a lot of these things. So I thought, I really want to play him this Alice in Chains song, but I don't want him to know what I'm playing him. I just want to say, oh, here's one of the tracks from the new release that's we've just got the masters back. I just wanted to try it on someone without telling you what it is or anything. I just want a genuine immediate response of how I want to know how you're affected by this, because I was really stressing about that song, largely because I am a huge Alice in Chains fan, and particularly Dirt. I studied that so hard from early teens for till now, and I'm constantly discovering over the years, discovering new little tiny fragments of detail, with maybe transitioning of technique vocal wise from this line to that line, or different kinds of little inflections and really fine details. I've always really enjoyed that album and sung that whole album back to front, since I was a teenager. So the idea of attempting to cover that song in any way that's different to the way that I've jammed it, countless times over the years, just feels like I'm ruining it. So it was really, I felt like I was really going against myself. I had to really fight to try and sort of unlearn something that was so familiar to me. But I played this song to Garth, and one of the things that really stuck with me was in the chorus of the song. He says, he didn't say anything while we were listening to it, except when it clicked what the song was, he kind of looked at me and went, oh, whoa. Like, I didn't know what was happening, but it's just clicked. And boy, oh boy, you really got me there. I had no idea what was happening, and now I know what it is. And this is taking me on a bit of a journey kind of thing. But he didn't say anything. He just listened to it through. And the comment afterwards was, man, the chorus of that song in the original is the point where the song lifts.
Yes.
Because it goes from this depressing kind of sentiment, and then there's that chorus comes in, and even though lyrically it's basically a depressing song all the way through, but the chorus gives it enough of a lift to kind of create this dynamic that it gives you almost like a sense of hope. Like, even though everything's fucked, the chorus comes in and you can kind of breathe for a bit before you get dropped back into the seriousness of the next verse. But this version that you guys have done, you don't get to have that breather. It doesn't lift there. It sort of hints at lifting, but then doesn't deliver, and you just remain uncomfortable. And I just laughed, and I was like, fuck yeah, okay, that's something. So I'll go with that, even if the general feedback is these guys are cunts and why would you cover this song and you've ruined my at least there's that, so I kind of just put that in my back pocket and went, all right, let's just chill, whatever happens at the end of the day, at least that's pretty cool. So hopefully it comes across that way with other people.
Absolutely, man. I can guarantee it. I would love to hear what Jerry thinks of it. I think Jerry would love it.
Possibly. I would hope that he would get some kick out of it.
I think he loves his metal. He loves his heavy shit. Jerry Cantrell's written some of the fucking riffs around, but I think
it's not that I think he'd be put off by heaviness or darkness or anything. Like, absolutely, but yeah, I also wouldn't want to assume he might listen to it and go, oh, bunch of wankers, what the fuck is that? No. I don't know. I don't know the guy, but maybe you'll have to get him on just to force him to listen to that song and get a review from him.
I would love to. I've only spoken to him once. It was brief, but he was very cool, very chill. So
awesome.
Hey man, if we ever get a chance again, I'll be bringing it up. I'll be like, Jerry.
Yeah.
Fucking listen to this, Jerry. But of course, what was I talking about? Yeah, so this is what happens to me on a Tuesday night.
I've got a feeling I spiraled. I think you asked a more broad question, and then I spiraled into a small detail.
I love it. No, I've just it's been a long year. Of course, a few other people worked on it behind the scenes, like Chris Melko from Monolith Studios. He's a great dude. You got Joe Haley as well. Also dropped some guitars in there. Was that
Joe's leads are great? Oh, the leads he brought to the release were. I don't think I heard any of his parts until way late in the process. So I got so used to these being the kind of bare bones, right up till very, very late in the process. And so that was kind of, I'd forgotten that he was even tracking anything for those songs. And I'm listening to a playthrough of the songs, listening to one of the early mixes maybe or something, and this lead comes tearing out from nowhere, and I'm sitting there with headphones cranked to fuckery, and then Joe just comes tearing my fucking head off. I'm like, what? Where the fuck did that come from? It's Evil Joe back in action.
Sounds so good, man. It's so good. Was that obviously, was that a creative decision, or was that due that everyone was all over the place in the country? Did
I
you
think
guys
it's
go?
just
"Oh,
because I think it's just the old kind of sort of reaching out to the Amenta family kind of thing, and there was there were two songs which had lead sections, which was Angry Chair and the Lord Chaos cover, Crystal Lakes,
mm,
uh, which had lead sections, and I guess it was probably just Eric probably just thought, oh, this would be a fun thing to see if Joe's keen to, step back in to make some noise. And thankfully he did, because the way that he actually approached those leads just really, he just knows how to work for the song in everything he does. He's not one of those look at me kind of players. He's a meticulous craftsman in what he does. So he jumped in there and just put the cherry on the cake for those songs. It's really cool.
absolutely. And what about working with dudes like Chris from Monolith and stuff? Like, was that because everyone sort of as I meant, like everyone sort of split up everywhere all over the country? Was that because it was easiest to get to him, or was it like something that you guys want to work with him on? How'd that come about?
To be honest, like I was saying before, I've been I really did take quite a step back. So, and I wanted everyone to understand where I was at, and just, I I'm kind of stepping back. You guys know what you're doing. You know that if everyone's happy, I'll be happy. Don't stress. Just go. Just keep the ball rolling. Um, so I mean, yeah, I don't even know if I don't actually specifically remember a time where anything about Joe was brought up or anything. It was just a cool surprise that
Yeah.
these collaborative efforts kind of fell into place and just really worked for those songs so well. So um yeah, just really cool little gems
Yeah.
that have made something that could have been a bit of a, B-side throwaway, whatever kind of thing, as happens, with um cover releases. Like a lot of times when bands try doing stuff like that, it kind of just goes right under the radar. But this went from, let's knock out a couple of, two covers as a bit of a bonus, like, thing to throw out after the album, and it sprawled out into something that a lot of very delicate crafting did go into the whole thing on all departments. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's about all I could tell you as far as that goes.
Oh man, you can hear it, and I love it. It seems very collaborative by a lot of
Mm.
people. Like it's a labor of love from a lot of people. It's fucking amazing. And Alana Sibison, I think
Yeah,
her name is.
Alana
I'm not
Kay.
familiar with her work, but that's really cool. How did that team up sort of come about?
That came up because she is a vocal coach, a phenomenal vocal coach. Um, that I've been good friends with for a long time through, tours and just being around the same bands and stuff like that. And it was actually her who was the driving force behind convincing me to start vocal coaching in WA.
Yeah, well,
Um, because I'd done a bit of, she'd invited me to do some vocal work with her a long time ago, because she'd been teaching for ages. She's been teaching international clients from some pretty significant bands and things like that over the years. And I had a session with her once in Melbourne, just to have a go and see if maybe she could sort of open me up to some blind spots that I may have had vocal wise. And so I did a workshop with her, and then went home with some stuff to work on, like some warm-ups and things to tinker around with. And I was kind of annoyed that she had actually shone a light on some blind spots that I wasn't aware I had. So I was like, fuck, she's right. Like, that's, wow, okay, that's given me some homework to fuck with, and some things that I can expand on that I didn't realize I could be expanding on. So but she was really encouraging, saying, like, I know, yeah, I'm showing you some stuff, but don't let that take away from how much you do know, because you're doing so much crazy shit, and you should really be teaching. You're a natural, really. From our conversations, you could really do well doing that. So I was teaching for 6 years, which ended about a year and a half ago. I lost my studio, so I don't have a studio to teach anymore. But to be honest, it's actually been something that, like a lot of things, have been a bit of a breath of fresh air to take a step back from, because I think I was just I have been really burnt out for a while, and just basically managing burnout for years. So stepping away from a few things, is simplifying life a bit, has been necessary for me. But anyway, she kind of encouraged me to start teaching, and I loved it immediately. And I've made some amazing lifelong friendships with people that I've taught, that even if I don't see them for 10 years, we'll always have an amazing bond when we do catch up. It was a really cool journey. But Alana's an amazing vocalist, as well as a teacher. So when the My Dying Bride song came up, which I think may have been, I have a feeling that was one of Tim's suggestions. And it's just me, I'd be doing the spoken male vocal, and we're going to need to get a chick to do the chick part. And immediately was just like, well, of course, I'll see if Alana's available to do it. So I got in touch with her and said, hey, we're doing this thing. Is there any chance you might have time for us to be able to book you in to track some stuff? And she said, yeah, send me the original so I can have a listen to the song. Immediately, tornado of ideas of how she could approach it started coming together. And since, she's kind of looked back on it and gone, fuck, I kind of wish I got a bit crazy with it now, because I was deliberately trying to kind of rein it in to not get too carried away. But fuck, I could have done this, like just subtle things that could have. But I think that's the case with most artists. You always tend to look back at stuff you've done and see what you could have done better, and it just means you're passionate about what you do. So, but I was, all of us were thrilled when we got the track sent through, and it was just immediately like, yep, that's it. That's what's supposed to go there. That's for damn sure. So yeah, another one of those cool gems that's there. If you're looking for them, there's all sorts of crazy little gems in that release, which is amazing, because I really didn't think of it being that kind of a project when we started it. It was just 2 songs that we thought, oh, maybe we should do another 1 or 2 songs. Fuck, if we're gonna do that, we may as well just do a whole album's worth of shit. And like, okay, cool.
Snowballed.
It just kind of snowballed, and I'm glad it did, because far out, because I had taken a huge step back at the point of looking at the actual track list order. And so when the final masters were done, I was sent a link to listen to the full release mastered, and I deliberately avoided checking what order the songs were in, because I didn't want to know. I hadn't listened to them for a while at that point. I'd had a good distance from the songs. And I put headphones, cranked the fuck out of them, and I sat there in the dark. I wanted to be in pitch black, so I'm just only dealing with sound, and I want no idea what the next song is going to be after this song finishes. I want it to be a surprise every time. I want this to be as fresh as possible, to see how, how does this journey play out. And at that point, I was pretty worn out and wasn't particularly enthusiastic about anything, really. I was just like, all right, here's the masters. I should do the right thing and have a listen. If I'm going to do it, let's make an event out of it, and let's treat it seriously. And headphones on, all right, loud as fuck, pitch black, eyes closed. And it was like a roller coaster through hell. It actually felt like, because there's no visual stimulation at all.
Yep.
I'm just getting this really thick, dense, atmospheric, hellish kind of experience, because it starts off with the Theamenta Glass track, which is just horrific. The original is horrific. It's a frightening track, and when Eric sent through his first rough demo of his interpretation of it, it was a real surprise, because I was like, what the fuck? This isn't supposed to be a song. It's supposed to be an abstract kind of art piece, which is what I was kind of gearing up for. And now you're throwing this at me. And so at first, for a split second, I was kind of like, what the fuck? You've turned it into a song, an extreme metal song. But within a few seconds, I just went, holy shit. He's completely sat down and combed through every fucking element of this song, and he's somehow twisted what was this art piece into this vicious, horrendous black metal track, essentially. Really avant-garde black metal track. So what a great way to start the release with that. That was a cool surprise for that to be the opener. I didn't think anyone would have picked that to open the release with, but it was a great surprise. And then by the time I got through that vicious kind of experience of the first song, I come out the other end like, fuck, now what am I now where is this taking me? What am I being thrown into from the tail of this world? What fucked up world am I getting thrown into next? And I just found that was happening with each song. Every time a song finished, I had this feeling of like kind of exhaustion because the production actually did end up coming out really, really rich and dense and severely atmospheric. And you really, it throws you around like a rag doll.
Yeah,
the release just throws you around like a rag doll. You lose your bearings. I don't know where the fuck I am anymore. Oh no, now where am I? Oh fuck, I'm not ready for this. Fuck, this is hard work. It's an ideal kind of outcome. So I've gone from a kind of I'm pretty fucked and exhausted and not particularly excited about anything, to submerging myself in this hell ride and getting through the other side of it and going, fuck, wow, okay, we did that. Wow, all right. That was kind of worthwhile. Go team. From something that was a muck around, it sort of fleshed out into I was laughing to myself one day thinking, if this was a horror film, what would the tagline be? And the first thing I thought was a roller coaster through hell, because that is what it felt like. but I thought that's too kind of generic. It's too straight. Yeah, and I'm just kind of imagining like 80s VHS horror film covers and thinking if this album was a fucking some cult underground horror film from the 80s, what would the tagline be? And I just thought, like, for the promo, for the trailer for this film, it would have to say something like, "You will shit your pants. You will piss the bed. A roller coaster through hell. The Amenta, blah, 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 whatever. But you will shit your pants. You will piss the bed." Like, it's actually really fucking horrible.
Yeah, I mean, I did. But
it's
don't tell
a
anyone.
rollicking good time.
It is a fucking really good
I
time.
appreciate your honesty. I really do. We're all friends
no one's
here.
gonna know. It's fucking great, man. Like, I really, really enjoy it, and I think everyone else is gonna enjoy it as soon as it drops. You know that you are not prepared to shit. But Zoom's doing that thing again.
That's all right. I can deal with that.
And it's like you have 10 seconds to comply. But man, it's always a pleasure talking to you, man. It's
Likewise.
You don't do this enough. But
and yeah, I really hope that people come out and make the most of this run of shows because so much goes into pulling this shit together, and we're really excited to create some real fucking chaos on this run. So get out there, come party with us.
It's on the calendar, man. I tell you, it's on my calendar. I'm crossing it off.
Yes,
I fucking can't wait. And at the zoo as well. Not the zoo. It's at the zoo.
I'm just
right?
looking at the
zoo.
The zoo.
Yeah.
The zoo. There's no zoo on this fucking flyer that I brought as my cheat sheet. We're playing at the Soapbox in Brisbane.
Oh, it's Soapbox. I thought it was zoo.
I don't know what the zoo is. I've never.
Oh, it's around the corner. But yeah, I'd be at the venue going, "Oh, where is everybody?" The party's down the corner.
Glad we had this little chat.
I know. I'm glad you're like, "Where are you, Nev? You fuckhead."
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm at the wrong venue. Not the hey, that almost happened to me with who was it? Cattle decapitation the other week.
Oh shit. Brutal.
Yeah, I was trying to book parking, and my best mate's like, "That's a fucking really long way away from the venue." I'm like, "No, man, it's just around the corner." And he's like, "Did the Trifford, dickhead?" And I was like, "Oh!" And I almost like paid for parking, and we would have had to walk for like blocks and blocks and blocks.
Holy shit!
Getting old.
You're as bad as I am. That's cool. That's really comforting. It's very comforting. There are others. It's not just me.
No.
Sometimes I'm meant to be. Sometimes I'm playing at the show, and I find that situation pops up. No, I'm not that bad. I have missed some flights in my time though, but they were only flights home after a tour.
At least there's something.
The ones 2 shows, I go above and beyond to make sure that I make it. But home, it's like whatever. If I miss it, it'll suck. But I'll live.
Oh,
but yeah, man. So the dates November 16 to December 2nd, where the dates all land: Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide, Brisbane, Perth.
It's gonna be.
Let's rock.
I'm gonna have all the links down here in the show notes and on the website, which I'm just pointing at my roof currently, but it will be on there. Cain, brother, as I said, it's always a pleasure talking to you, man. And if you ever need a chat or hang out, you know where I'm at.
Thank you so much. Very appreciated. And yeah, let's chat more. And I can't wait to hang out at the show. It's going to be rad.